Vinyl Club, we've got a great show coming at you. South Bend, Indiana. Hey, somebody's got to go to South Bend. We went.
We saw Touchdown Jesus. We went to the South Bend Record Show. We talked with Jeremy Bonfiglio, who's the guy that puts that show on. There were a lot of people there. There were a lot of young girls there. There were a lot of women there. Great dealers. A lot of people that we don't see here in Indy. And we had a great time at the show, but we took the time to have a discussion with Jeremy about what it's like to run that show and how things have been going in the vinyl world since he took it over. Hey, we're here with Jeremy Bonfiglio.
Yeah.
I got the pronunciation.
You got it right. Yeah, we Americanized it.
He is the reason for this South Bend Record Show. And tell us a little about how the show's been today.
Yeah, it's been good. You know, I was a little concerned because shows lately have been a little slow attendance, but you know, we had 80 early birds through the door, and we're just over 80, yeah.
Wow.
And we're just over 200 attendance so far today. And
you know, it's a little disorienting because the room's so big.
Yeah.
It may not seem like that.
Right.
So
absolutely.
it's good to hear that there's a good crowd. We've seen a lot of young folks here.
Yeah.
Is that typical for the shows that you do up here?
Yeah, and we kind of really target that with our social media, right? So yeah, we're on Facebook, but we also hit Instagram pretty hard, with our advertising. So, and you know, we have flyers at every record store in the region, and you know, some other businesses. So with the University of Notre Dame right here, you know, we're really trying to get that audience in, and we're seeing a lot of young people now, so it's great.
So what trends are you seeing as a guy that sells records?
Yeah, so you know, what's been interesting to me this past year is the growth of new vinyl. You know, a lot of people in the past, it's always been, you know, the pre-love stuff has always been the draw. But this past year, I see a lot more people looking at new vinyl. I know I've added to my new vinyl offerings, you know, to make sure that I'm covering that market.
Yeah.
I think, a couple factors there. I think, you know, one, the pressings have gotten better, you know, with new vinyl. And so, you know, the quality is there. Another thing is, you know, you see people who, you know, maybe priced out of buying an original, you know, and they don't want to, you know, paying in the 75 and up range for some of those.
And then it gets repressed, it sounds better, it looks prettier, and it's a third the price.
Yeah, and you can buy it for 35. So, especially, and, you know, you mentioned the young people here.
Yeah.
You know, so for them, you know, they don't really distinguish between, you know, new vinyl and the pre-love stuff
because it's
as
all
much.
new to them.
Right, because, you know, because this is the first time really they've ever dealt with physical media at all.
Right.
You know, they didn't grow up with it like we did.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an opportunity for them to say, well, you know, I can get this brand new for cheaper, why not?
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's what's driving new vinyl sales a lot. And, you know, and even people, you know, my age, I'm in my 50s, and you know, sometimes there's a really cool pressing that I just can't find anywhere else. And I'm like, well, why not buy it new, you know? Right. So yeah, that's been a trend I've really noticed this year.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that until recently, but as a collector myself, I was telling you, I love those new pressings.
Yeah.
I love original ones too.
Right.
The new ones are great. Now, you also have record sleeves, and tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so one of my many jobs, my side gig to my side gig is I work for BCW Supplies.
Okay.
Which is close to you guys down in Middleton, Indiana. And so they are a hobby supply company who, you know, really made their name in like comic books and gaming cards and baseball cards and that kind of stuff. They hired me about a year and a half ago now to take over the music category for them and just kind of, help out, determine what they had, do kind of a quality and a price inventory, and then just build the brand and build the inventory there. So I've been working for them a year and a half, really developing the category. And so every record show I do, I put up BCW table. Yeah. We give away, 75 BCW tote bags at the entrance.
That's awesome.
So people have something to fill up at the show. And so they've been a great supporter, of record shows and not just mine, but others here in the Midwest. And we're spreading out, we have a guy that's down at Austin, the big Austin record show this weekend, which is the biggest show in the country, and that's happening this weekend as well. And so we have a guy down there representing BCW, and we have somebody up in New York right now who has the record show yesterday, who also was repping BCW. So we're really trying to get the brand out there, and awesome. We believe in the brand, we believe in the quality, and it's it's nice to have them supporting record shows.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jeremy, thanks for having us up.
Absolutely, thanks.
We're already having fun seeing what people are buying.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bonfiglio, look him up. Buy records from him. Buy supplies from him.
Thanks, guys.
We're here with Ken Price, and Ken used to run this South Bend record show. Ken, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in is hearing about what you see, some trends you see with record collecting.
Well, the trends can occur in literally months where there's changes in artists that are hot. 1 month, 2 shows later, you can hardly give them away.
Yeah.
And one of the more interesting trends is a lot of records we used to have in our $2 and $3 boxes 10 years ago, classic rock stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Fleetwood Mac, the 2 White Albums. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
And now they sell for $10 to $20.
Yeah.
So, and they were $2 records 10 years ago.
And those are also records that sold about 20 million copies each.
Yeah. And it's interesting that some of the things that we consider to be everyday records, cheap records, are now back and selling for more money.
Yeah.
It's just that a lot of the younger people have discovered certain artists. Now they're going back and getting everything that they weren't around for the first time.
Right. One of the trends that I've seen going to different shows and stores is how many young kids are at them. And like today.
Oh yeah, it's a good mix of ages, and there's a lot of younger folks. And well, for me, everybody's young, but people in their early teens to early 20s, you see quite a few.
And a lot of young girls too.
Yeah. We're getting more females coming to the shows. Yeah,
that's so great.
Yeah.
So what was it like running this show how many years did you do it?
16 years. I left my real world job, and I was going to I had to move to either LA or just north of New York City, and I said no thanks to either one. So I just ended up just running the record shows. I've been doing it as far as going and setting up a show since '91.
Really?
So I already had a fairly good business started and a fairly in-depth knowledge of records.
Yeah.
So, and I've been buying records for like 50 years.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me just to kind of pick that up as a hobby business. And I'd saved enough while I was working that I could get into it and not worry about making as much as I did when I had a real job.
Right.
So.
Well, I always love to ask folks, and you obviously have a lot of records here.
Yeah.
But what is the record that you're looking for that you either had and got rid of and want again, or that you've never had?
Well, there's always a few records you look for, and for a while I had a want list and it got too frustrating. Finally I ended up getting a couple of them, but I stopped looking specifically.
Yeah.
But the one I've probably been looking for, I passed on one time and I regretted it, was one from the 60s by the Nightcrawlers, The Little Black Egg.
Oh, okay.
You see the 45 a lot, but the LP you never see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a garagey, psych, goofy record. That's what I'd like to find.
That's cool. It's funny, I ask people that question, and almost without fail, it's the garagey psych rock music that people are always listening or looking for.
Yeah, it was sold in very small quantities, and it's very desirable, and you can't find it. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Ken, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. Yeah. That was great, man. Hey, we're here with Dan Humiston. And I just wanted to I love the selection of records that he has. He's got a great corner spot. Dan, tell me a little about how the show's been today.
It's been a really good show for me today, actually. A lot of things that I find people are looking for are records that you can't necessarily get an original of, but the music is so great that we still have to have it, and the reissues are still available. So we're selling those reissues, and I'm glad that we can provide those, because that's why I'm here too, because I love the music.
I call them repops.
So yeah, repops, sure, absolutely.
So what are some of the big ones that you're seeing? I mean, I know Fleetwood Mac's probably a big one.
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
Certainly any of the '90s stuff, Soundgarden or Nirvana or any of those have been doing real well. Certainly into the '90s, some of the Nine Inch Nails and things like that.
Yeah, we have an unboxing on our YouTube page right now of the Fragile.
Oh yeah.
And the Smashing Pumpkins Melancholy box too.
Cool.
So, I'd also like to know, I mean, are there some trends that you're seeing in record shows or in record selling?
Well, I've been doing steady shows for a couple of years now, and what I like that I'm seeing is that families are coming.
Yes.
So mom and dad bringing the kids.
Yeah.
That part is really good.
Yeah.
We're seeing some college kids, I mean, of course, that 30 to 60 group is always there.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, but if I have a record show and all I see is a bunch of old dudes, I'm kind of like worried. So I need to see women and children too.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've noticed today at this show more than almost any other I've been to is there's so many girls. So many young girls.
Yes, they are involved.
What are they buying? That 90s stuff?
Well, they're buying Ghost, which is great because I love them. So, so I sold some of that, but I'm trying to think what did some of the other girls buy. It's the Fleetwood Mac. It's the some of those staple things too.
Yeah, all the stuff that our parents and grandparents love.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So where do you see it going? Because my co-host and I talk about the wave is cresting, and it just seems like it is not cresting.
No, it's been pretty steady. We've had some ups and downs in the shows, but some of that is just the weather, and the time of year. So we really don't know from show to show how really good it's going to be. Yeah. But I'm finding that it's steady enough that I haven't run into a show where I go, wow, I just lost my ass.
Yeah. Well, and
gave away all my records to pay for my table.
Well, and one last thing, and I always like to ask dealers this, is what record are you looking for, not to sell, but one that you want to get?
Well, I'm kind of off the grid right now. I don't have anything that's on my radar.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we were kind of talking today about how, that $100 record, it's like, I don't want to buy the $100 record. That's the only thing that's out there left for me right now.
Gotcha.
Is the $100 record.
Yeah.
So I did buy Poe Haunted this week.
I love that record.
So
I don't have it on vinyl.
Only came out one time on Record Store Day in 2019. I just bought $100. I just paid $100 for it.
I have that on CD, and I can't tell you how many times I listened to it.
I know, yeah, so cool. So
yeah, well, thanks for talking to us, Dan.
Absolutely. Glad to do
great, and good luck with the rest of the show.
You bet. Thank you.
All right.
Wow, Jason. Jeremy, Dan, and Ken had some great insight. I'm glad you guys got to go to the show. I hated missing it, and I'm glad we were able to get up to South Bend.
Yeah, Keith and I had a great time. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. We'd never been to the show before. We didn't know what the crowd would be like because the weather was perfect outside, and that seems to be something that affects how many people get out. If the weather is that nice this late in the year, there isn't that much of a guarantee that you're going to have a great crowd. But there was a great crowd there at that show. And what really stuck out to me was there was a wide array of vendors there, but then a wide array of folks. Like I said earlier, a lot of young girls, a lot of women, and people all ages at the show. And even though it's easy to assume that things are the same at every record show, even just regionally, even just 2.5 hours away, you have different product, you have different generations of people dealing different things. Dan had a lot of great heavy metal records. Ken, it was interesting to talk to him because he used to run that show. And for whatever reason, he passed the torch along to Jeremy. So all in all, we had a great time at the show, and it's one that I probably will go back to.
Good. I'm excited to make the journey to the North Country and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we may have some other treats from the show. You guys will have to stick around and check that out if and when that does happen. So don't forget, We have so many things on the YouTube channel now, so many different varieties of video and audio snacks that you guys should check out. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share ideas for shows and shorts or anything else that
Yeah,
you might wanna
anything
see.
you think we ought to be doing.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all the next time around.